How much money does divorce cost taxpayers per year?
$2 million.
To what?
Billion.
Any other guesses?
87 billion.
Oh, he's closer. You get warm.
100 billion?
319 billion.
So,
That's all. So obviously divorce is an epidemic, right? If you know me, you know this. I am not an advocate for divorce. I personally went through one. It is the death. It's the worst thing I've ever gone through in my life. People always say to me when I do interviews and all this stuff, they say, well, Amber, do you get over divorce? And this is what I say. Do you get over losing somebody you love? No. Your life changes, it goes on, it's different. So that's my answer. That might not be everybody's answer, but that's my answer.
It's 12 o'clock.
So anyway, you guys, what I know is that divorce is devastation. It's extremely hard to get through, but the funny thing about it, every time I ask somebody, you know, how do you feel about your divorce now? And it said, it made me a better person. It made me stronger. Isn't that awesome? But it's hard because you fall so fast and you fall really quick. And this is why. You know how you have so many things to do sometimes that you don't want to get out of bed? Right? Think about this. 3 hardest things in life. Divorce, or death, divorce, and moving. So let's just, both scenarios, you're doing 2 of those 3. How overwhelmed are you? It was so fun for me when people used to go, oh my God, Amber, focus on your kids. And focus on your job. And I was like, look, I'm standing here, my hair is brushed, I think I brushed my teeth, and I'm dressed, and I'm breathing. I'm focused. So much is changing so quick for these people. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to start. And so that's why we created Divas. We created Divas to be a safe place for them, to have good resources, and even after the divorce. I mean, I know Denise, you couldn't vouch for this. There's awesome programs through churches and stuff, divorce care programs, which are awesome and amazing. Problem is, they get out of there and I have no friends. I was actually up till 2 o'clock in the morning. A gentleman told me, probably one of the most prominent doctors in Dallas. Devastating. Devastating. A man, by the way. Hey, so I have another trivia question for you. And by the way, if you've heard my presentation, can't answer this either. What's the #1 reason for adult suicide?
Suicide?
Adult suicide.
Emotional stability.
Divorce. So who's, oh, and get this. This is where it gets really interesting. Men are 4 times more likely to do that. This man that was on the phone with me, that is a physician, is one of the most, people look at him and would not even believe. He told me last night that he thought about killing himself. My life is gone. I don't know what to do. So that's the sad of it. But here's where it gets happening. Do you know what is actually priceless? You know, we all watch the American Express. That's priceless, this is priceless. Do you know what is priceless? Do you know? What's priceless? Giving hope to somebody who feels hopeless. That's priceless. Guess what, you guys? That's what we're doing. Cheers. So anyway, I want to go around the room, and for the Divas providers, I want you guys to introduce yourselves, talk about what you do, and how you're here to help and support the people who are unfortunately in a predicament that is not going away. So we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm Denise Cajola. I have a company called It Takes 3 Mediation, and I actually reside in the Collin County area. I help couples and individuals in various different ways through the process. Some people I actually help stay married. I'm a marital coach, which is very different than being a therapist or a counselor. I have a master's in dispute resolution, so all of my work is around communication, behaviors, and that kind of thing. But I help people that are feeling hopeless find a way to get to the other side with some light. I also actually help people resolve their divorce in full. So you can actually come to a mediator to resolve all of the aspects that are associated to a divorce, actually have those documents prepared, and actually get a divorce. And it's done more collaboratively, less expensively, and more than anything, it really keeps the balance of emotions all throughout the process, because there's a neutral party that's helping them understand why they got locked out of their house, or the account was changed, password was changed. And those little things are what really escalate suicide, or they escalate really bad agreements, very long negotiations, and the people that suffer in the end are their children. So I welcome you to just visit with me. My business is very private, obviously, and all of you probably know somebody that's in that position, and I welcome these phone conversations to be able to let them know a little bit more about what I do. It's Denise Cajola, and it takes 3 mediation.
The year I got divorced, there was literally 4 other kids in my daughter's Girl Scout troop that were also, their parents were also going through divorce. And so this was like this small group of 13 kids. There was 5 of us that were having this divorce issue. And it wasn't like the class or the school, but just this small group. And I remember thinking, gosh, I wish there was some kind of group program or something that they could go to that would help them kind of through this time. It would be much less expensive. Just as some of you know, going to therapy individually can be pretty expensive. There was not one. And so we did pay for our children to go to therapy. We probably spent $4,000 and change. It keeps going to zero every once in a while. I created a program for children 5 to 8. I'm working on the 9 to 12 and possibly the teens. And I'm a licensed professional counselor, licensed comprehensive counselor, and a play therapist for children. So the program I created is a group play therapy. It's 10 sessions with the children, 2 sessions with the parents, whoever's going to participate. And so I'm kind of getting that on the ball. So my name's Melissa Richardson.
What area are you in?
Addison.
Hi everybody, I'm Jamie Everett, and I'm with Book Your Gold Party DFW. Actually today would have been my 19th wedding anniversary, but we've been divorced for 3 years. Unfortunately, today. I'll make like I said, a better person. But anyway, what we do at Book Your Gold Party, we do how we can help people that need extra cash. We don't sell anything we buy. Gold, silver, diamonds. If you have, wedding rings you need to get rid of, that type of thing for extra cash, that's what we do. We bring the party to you, we bring catering and wine, and make it a fun party atmosphere. I buy everybody's unwanted items, everybody goes to win-win. But I'm Jamie Everett with the Gold Party.
I'm Ed Llewellyn. I'm a master hypnotist. What I do related to divorce is I can help people, I'm also a life coach, so I can help people decide not to get divorced. If they decide to get divorced, I can actually help relieve the pain of going through divorce. For instance, if somebody, how many here, if you went through divorce, had a hard time letting go of the one that you were divorced and being divorced from?
I have a hard time letting go of the guy.
All right. Well, that's one of the things I do is I actually can help people that whether they've been hanging on and hoping and wishing and praying that they can still be with that person, they can just let go of them. In fact, I do that with any kind of relationships, whether that's work relationships or personal relationships, so that it becomes a neutral event. It's no longer that emotional attachment. So that's from that aspect of divorce. That's what I do for people.
Providers. So do you want to stand up? Good.
I'm Tim Went with Edward Jones. I've got 2 of your advisors with me here, Jason and Angela. We kind of got involved with this just from meeting Amber, I guess about 6 months ago. My brother went through a divorce, and I saw what it did to him and his family, and so I figured as a financial advisor, I could really help people in these scenarios not commit financial suicide, I guess, to bang on that a little bit. But we're here just to introduce ourselves and kind of get to know everybody, and build our business and help as many people as we can. Yes, that's me. Hey, Brad Seabolt, your business lawyer with the Seabolt Law Group, who was involved in Amber pretty much from the, I guess, most recent start. And Mark Schmidt and I head up what at least one time was called the Dallas chapter. We're probably over there all year that we understand that. But also, before I tell you what I do, I did want to sort of reach out. A common acquaintance of mine, Amber's, had a Facebook post this morning. Amanda Claus, where she came up and realized on her calendar popped up the wedding anniversary. Of course, a year and a after they were married, she was divorced. So that 7 months ago, and she appeared to be a little bummed about it. So I just said I would mention her to Bruce, and I said we'll sort of offer her psychic support. And I said, number one, take it off your calendar so they won't and number two, reach out to people for positive support, because the way all the people who want to bring you into their pity party to join, what they're doing. So just think about her if you would. Anyhow, what do? I do business. What's that do with divorce? Okay. Well, a lot of people have aspects of their property divorce involve businesses. You may be in a business with your spouse may be in a business. Your spouse may have shared the stock and closing job company. He may have 401ks, receive whatever it is. And the fact of the matter is, most divorce lawyers, God love them, don't know crap about anything about accounting or business. Okay, they were English majors, political science majors, went to law school. Okay, and that's what they do. And so what I do is I work with usually divorce lawyers, or I work with cooperating individuals who are trying to deal with business assets. And part of what I try to do is preserve usually the main asset of the divorce, which is their business, to make sure they don't mutually destroy it. It stays together and can be allocated. Similarly, divorcing or divorcing individuals who's trying to start off a new life. And they go like, well, I'd like to either continue the business I have or start a new one. And we work with them on that too. So that's where I fit in big picture. Brad Seabolt, your business lawyer.
My name's John Snell, and I'm a divorce mortgage specialist. And for most couples, their home represents the largest single asset they own. So when they're going through a divorce process, there are issues regarding their home that they have to deal with. And they, like Grant said, the divorce attorney is not the expert when it comes to what to do with their home, where they're going to live, and things of that nature. And that's where I come in. So this could be things like refinancing, to pay off the spouse, to pull cash out of the house to give them as part of the settlement, or to just remove them from the existing note. It also could be something like helping a single mom, newly single mom who had to sell a big house, now is living in an apartment, getting tired of that, to buy her first home on her own that's the right size for her and her children. It could also mean something like helping to protect people's credit during this process. And I give some very specific advice on how to keep your spouse from committing spousal identity theft. And that happens a lot, you'd be surprised. So those are some of the areas that I help people in. And what I tell people is if there's a divorce and there's a house involved, that's a great place to bring me in before he gets to the divorce attorney. I'm working with a lady right now that her divorce attorney did not tell her about a very specific strategy that she should be using to settle her divorce, and we're going to be helping her with that. So if you know anybody that has a home involved, that would be a great referral for me. John Snell, DallasMortgagePro.com.
I'm Ricardo Roberto. I'm a financial planner with Prudential Financial Planning Services. And I was just marking a little sign there. You'll see there's a big circle there. This is financial, and then there's two other circles which are legal and emotional. Of course, there's not a lot of lawyers in the room, we know some of the aspects of divorce they deal with. But when you have clients, and you've had them for many years, they have babies, change jobs, parents die, they become a real part of your life as you help them to build the finances and help them to secure the path of life they want. And then you start calling them, and they stop answering your calls. And finally you get hold of them, and they're in a really bad place, and they are destroying a lot of what you help them build. But there's more to it than that. When Amber walked in my door 3 years ago, I just knew there's those two big places. Legal, I got to be black. But the emotional part was really hard for me, that I didn't know how to manage that. And so to me, it was just logical that I was because I've been married for 28 years, been single for 30. I can't feel what you're feeling. I don't know how to go through it. I don't know who the best resources. At least I didn't know who the best resources were. And I just felt that this was a lot of place for me to be. And I'm that guy, I'm going to talk to you about the numbers and how this works. And I always just tell people, look, before you divorce, even just think about it, come talk to people. People get into this big fight over things that a lot of times they don't know how to value them. Way too many times what I see are talking about really important assets and give them a decent life in the future. Now they don't have it. So it's really my should just come in, find out what things work, start thinking about how you're going to take this apart, or things get ugly and nasty or irrational. Is that correct? I really couldn't deal with that. So I'm pardon for the potential
Hi, I'm Teresa Graw, and I am the founder of Love Locally. I am a matchmaker and dating coach. And so my role is kind of, unfortunately, after the divorce, when your divorce is final and you're healthy and you're ready to get out into the dating scene. I do geographically desirable introductions. When you are divorced and normally have children, you are bound by a certain county, most likely, or school district, and you want to find love close to where your kids go to school. You don't want to date someone in Rowlett if you live in Grapevine, or you certainly want your ex-husband not to find love in McKinney. You want him to stay close so you can continue to co-parent effectively for your children. Even though you like your ex-husband, if you try to have a healthy co-parenting relationship, you would like everyone to stay close. It is very important to the children, and I am remarried and have blended my family. My ex-husband and I co-parent very effectively. We live 4 minutes away from each other, and it's a very healthy situation. We live up in Montana. I have spent the last 12 years up in the area realizing that in the suburbs it's really hard to find love again. Are you going to go hang out with Glass Cactus? Where are you going to go? And for some single parents and single persons, people, they don't want to get on Match.com. It's scary. It's intimidating. And so with Love Locally, we do personal introductions. I do them all myself. I get to know everyone personally. Several interviews, several conversations. I do criminal background checks. I set up your introductions. They're for an hour. You meet somewhere that I've set up. You get to know each other. I only share first names. It would just be Amber, you're meeting John. And if you decide you like that person after that hour, then you're free to share your information. So it's very safe, it's secure, it's highly confidential, so I don't share any information. And it's all about helping people find geographically desirable love outcomes. And again, my name is Teresa Graw with Love Locally, and it's lovelocally.net. Thank you.
So for those of you who are actually here that are going through divorce, I'm going to give you 3 tips that I wish I would have known. Number 1, do not focus on what the other person did wrong. Focus on what you can do better. That'll make you a much happier person. Number 2, bitterness is like drinking poison expecting the other person to die. For real. And number 3, invest in you. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the best person to talk to about what not to do because because I did it all. I was on Match.com before the ink was even dry, okay? I know how to do it wrong, but I invested in my business. Very happy I did that. And fortunately enough for me, when I invested in my business, I was fortunate enough to come across a lady who was about to do a presentation for us, who gave me the best advice. I don't even know if you remember this, ever. She said, Amber, when you're starting a new business, you're dummy. Things are going to change, what your customer needs are. Do you remember this? She said, your business will change, and you've got to change with it. She was absolutely right. I will tell you though, I had no idea how right she was. When did we meet, Jen? 3 years ago?
Long time ago.
Do you know how much technology has changed in 3 years? Do you want to see something that's about to blow your mind? Jennifer Bagley, come up here and blow your mind, honey.
You guys, thank you so much for having me, Amber. Amber has put in more passion, more time, more energy, more effort, more funding, more everything than I can possibly imagine into this organization and providing an opportunity for you guys to be able to connect with each other, to be able to build, to be able to grow, to be able to exchange information, knowledge, services, as well as just education as a whole. So today we're going to talk a little bit, we've got a mixed crowd, so we're going to talk a little bit about change. Right now, is that important in everyone's lives in here, whether you're a provider or you're a member and so forth? Is it important?
Yes.
Let's talk about change. How many of you have kids? Yes? Are they different than you were? A little? Or a lot? Have you seen a toddler with an iPhone? Okay. Everything we know about communication, the way we communicate is changing day in and day out. I love the fact, tell me your name again.
Jason.
Jason, we spoke, you said I previously owned a digital marketing agency and then I got into financial planning, and I'm going to exaggerate a little bit. You said they cut my hands off, right? They basically eliminated my ability to communicate like I normally would with the outside world. In the financial planning world, the rules and regulations, restrictions from SEC, the other guidelines and so forth, they're how many decades old?
70s.
Absolutely. Tell me this, as business owners, as individuals, if you're operating with the same mindset you had 6 months ago, can you predict the results you're going to get 6 months from now? You absolutely can. If you are operating physically with the same mindset, if you do the same thing today that you did 6 months ago, do you think you will ultimately get almost the same results? You absolutely will. You might have some variances, and we can talk about exceptions. I prefer to leave those out and go by the rule. But right now, change is inevitable in everyone's lives here. The way you communicate, how you date, how you reach out for assistance, who you connect with, how you connect, the decisions you make, the mentors you choose, and so forth. Right now in your lives, tell me the top 9 areas in your life that are most critical to your overall success. List one. How about love? Okay. Love. About that? All right, what's another one? Family. Perfect. Another one. And if you have a pen and paper, you might want to write this down. Career. What is it? Perfect. We'll say business. Okay, another one.
Connections.
Okay, I'm going to say network.
Technology.
Okay. Technology. All right. We'll say communication. All right. Another one. Major areas of your life. Say it. Health. Is health important? Let's say absolutely. How many of you are at the gym this morning? How many of you wanted to go? Totally intended on it. Alright, absolutely. Health. What else? Major focal area. How about this? I'm going to list them for you, okay? So first, how about money? Is that important? Is it everything? We can shake our heads no, most women will. To me, just raise your knee for air. Okay? If you don't have any money, what of your other areas will fall to the wayside?
That's out the door. Yawn. Okay. Relations.
Your life. Wow. Did you do that? Wow.
What else? No money, no what? No. That's sex love, baby. In all angles. Okay, what else? What else? How's your health?
Repossessed.
Okay, so money is important. Do we agree? All right. What if you have money but you lose your health? Now is money important? What if you needed to fix your health? Absolutely. Okay, so is health equally as important as money? Yes? What about relationships? We'll say family. Important? If you screw up with your money, is it potentially imposed on your relationships? Absolutely. What about with your health? You get sick, what happens to your relationships? Potentially gone. Okay. All right. What about spirituality? Important? Yes? Okay. How about mindset? How you think? Will how you think adjust, good, bad, or indifferent, all of the other areas of your life? Absolutely. It's the number one in my book, thing that has the largest impact on everything else. Okay. How about personal development? You. Important? Should you be growing? Should you be changing? Are we programmed to set in our ways and do what's easy, what's comfortable? Okay, so today, can we get comfortable being uncomfortable? Is that fair? Is that a goal? Was it before you got here? No? I'm personally going to say right now it is time for everyone in here to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because only in that place of being uncomfortable does stuff change. I had a different vernacular for that. Leave it at that. Okay? That is where stuff changes. Do you notice when you have a significant emotional event in your life, how much change is accompanied with that? Isn't it significant? People change two ways. A significant emotional event. Usually those are a catastrophe in some people's minds. Or B, consistent change. Consistency, repetition over very, very long periods of time. How do most people wind up getting that change opportunity? Absolutely it is. So if you go into life knowing that it's quite possible that if I don't change the way I think, something else is going to. Is that fair? Everyone in this room, the great part is you have people that are service providers, you have people that are experts, you have people that are passionate, you have people that are in the motion. Everything you do from this day forward is a choice. Every result you have right now was a choice. Do you agree? Does anybody believe they are a victim to some other higher power, be it man, woman, child, or something else, that just happened to take your life and screw it up? Or do you, absolutely, was it your parents' fault? Absolutely. At this point, if you take two siblings, one sibling had an absolutely disastrous life. Everything you could possibly imagine that could go wrong in a child's life did. And you take the same sibling, same family, same disastrous lifestyle. Do they have the ability to get a different result?
Yes.
Is it likely that they can and will?
Yes.
Absolutely. And how did that occur?
Choice.
Personal choice. Everything is personal choice. I love the fact what Amber's putting together is the opportunity for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to change how you do things. Whether it's dating and you're looking to meet somebody and you decide you're having a first date tonight. So whether you decide to have that first date personally and put your body at risk or get online. Totally kidding, you're going to be fun. Okay, I'm not going. Here, I can give you my cell phone number and you can call me and I will pick you up because I said that. Actually, if you have an issue. So right now, what she's done is she's given everybody the opportunity to come together, to collaborate, and as a union, to change how you think, change how you communicate, change how you make your decisions, whether it's choosing a service provider or whether it's you educating people that need your help. Right now, there's so many practices that are ingrained in us. You guys actually just have a list of rules. You're totally stuck. I'm just kidding. Actually, you can actually bend some rules. You guys, my guess is, what is your favorite passion, favorite hobby?
Baseball.
Baseball, fantastic. Diving?
Esports.
Sports?
Yeah, sports.
How many of you have one of those passions as well? Anybody have one of those passions? Raise your hands, raise them high, and look around. This is the interesting part. You are bound by rules and regulations to not be able to do a series of things that are related to financial services. Tell me this. In this room, if you were going to pick somebody to help you with one of the most private areas of your life, would you base that decision on company name, company brand, reputation, or someone you personally connect with? Say it. Personal connection. So does it matter that you're restricted by rules and regulations? Absolutely not. If you were to participate on Amber's website by providing information, it's fun, it's engaging, it's a date night out, it's how to have the best date you can at the baseball game, whatever it is. Would you be able to connect with somebody who is in love with baseball? You might get asked out. It's possible. Okay. You guys, everyone in here has the opportunity to do something different. If you were going to educate an audience, how does that normally occur? In a one-on-one environment, in a consultation, is that normally how things start off? If you were given a platform to be able to communicate and educate actually tell me this, for all of you that are service providers in one way, shape, or form in some business, how many of you get asked the same question over and over and over again? Someone's going through a divorce, they call, you would answer the same question continuously. Do you believe that it is your due diligence, your responsibility to answer those questions so that other people that have the same questions can find it? That's what Divas is providing. It's providing a central platform for you to be able to take all of that knowledge, that power, that information. You've had a ton of experiences with people. You've had probably every story that said, I would love to have cocktails with you in your life. You have a book to write, I guarantee it. That book, inside the Divas platform, you have the ability to communicate and provide information, knowledge, and education that is here to help other people. Do you agree? Do you believe it's our job to do that? I will tell you this. We got in a conversation this morning about competition. I don't believe in competition. I believe that as a unit, we have the ability to come together, collaborate, and support each other's growth. Not by climbing on the backs of each other, but by literally carrying each other to the next step, to the next stage within your life, within your business, and so forth. Do you have the same belief? Yes, sir.
You're talking about abundance mentality.
Absolutely. Abundance mentality, blue ocean mentality. Is that natural? Is that programmed into children?
Absolutely.
It is? You know what I think children are born great. You just absolutely trained wrong. You murder them on the way up. Okay? We absolutely murder them on the way up. My belief is, in talking to people, that there are so many programs and wires that are built and designed inside of us that we don't even know why we think like we do. That most people don't even understand why they come to the conclusions that they come to, why they have the thoughts rolling through the head that they have, why they have the feelings that they have rolling through their head. If you were to take a moment and to think deep down, who technically wired you?
Your
Who is it?
caregivers.
What is it?
Your caregivers.
Your caregivers, absolutely. They wired you. They literally sat there like a robot and pre-programmed you, and they plugged this into here, and this into here, and this into here, and they wired you a specific way. Do you agree? Who else programmed you?
I was going to say, that all the beliefs that we have today were gained between the ages of 8 and 12. That's the reason why so many of the beliefs we have are childhood.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fear. There's a ton of them. So if right now, you guys you've seen people attempt to change, yes? Do people spend more time trying to change themselves or trying to change others? Okay, how difficult was it for you, those who chose you were going to go to the gym but never actually showed up? How difficult was that process? Is it difficult to change your own habits?
Yes.
Do you think it's difficult to change someone else's? More or less? Absolutely. So the challenge is we wake up and we're thinking about, Amber said don't blame someone else. We wake up and we're thinking about what they did wrong, what they could change, and so forth. How far is that going to get us?
Not far.
So if we were going to change, do you think most change that you see in people is superficial?
Yes.
So think about it like this. What happens on New Year's? Resolutions. Number one resolution in the world survey says is? Absolutely. Anybody been to the gym parking lot on January 1st? It is popping. That is the place to be. It is hot. Everybody's there. That might move as a conference. That is the hangout. What happens on March 15th? It's
no,
it doesn't window. By March 15th, it's ghost town. There's nothing happening. It's no longer a dating scene. Everything goes away. Absolutely. What is that for? You're good. It's good to see you. What is the reason behind that? It is consistent superficial change. Think about a boat. Everybody been in a boat? Okay? If I'm in shallow water and I throw the anchor in, does the boat move?
No.
Does it feel like it's moving? Absolutely. Absolutely. If the water is deeper, does the boat move more or less? So now I go in the ocean. Drop the anchor in, boom, what happens to the boat? Absolutely. It moves further. It can go around and around, side to side, and so forth. Think about that when you think about change. For you to get the most out of your participation in Divas, it's going to require you to think like this. The deeper rooted your anchors are, the more you're going to see change that is probably superficial change. It is probably not going to stick. It is probably going to last for a short amount of time. Would you rather go into a new relationship, new business marketing style, this organization, knowing that the likelihood of you not actually adopting the mindset or the change in the behaviors that you need to get a different result is highly likely? Or would you rather go into it saying, you know what, I am deeply rooted and have issues and I'm going to figure out what the heck this anchor is planted to, I'm going to rip that thing out of the ground and try and replant it somewhere else before I choose to follow the same path. Before I choose to do the same thing day in and day out. What is the definition of that? Absolutely. Nobody has time to do that. All right? If you want a different result, what does it require you to do? Let's do something different. We say this all the time. It's quite possible we'll say this out of this room. What percentage of people are going to go home and say, you know what, I'm totally going to figure out what these are anchored to, and I'm going to make a significant change in my life by detaching these and rerouting them? How many people do you think will? What percentage? 1%.
1 out of 10.
Absolutely. I was going to say 1% of the room. Okay? We go into this knowing that. How many of you think the 1% is me? I like that. I feel like I'm on it tonight. Why not? Something totally different. I'm going to order a Caesar salad instead of cow. Absolutely. The thing about changes is it requires incremental changes. In your life, if you pick something small, everybody thinks that change requires some vast, massive change. When in actuality, learning to be easily adaptable to change requires very small changes that happen on a routine basis, a regular basis. Very small changes. If somebody gives you feedback all the time, little things, you can change this, you should change this, you should change this. I just do it for the hell of it. Not because I think it has too much value, some of them do, some don't at all, but because it can't hurt me to change. So for me, the ability, when I get feedback, I asked you for this morning. I said, I want feedback. Give me feedback. Give me an opportunity to change. I want it on a regular basis. I have an open mindset and a permission-based mentality on change. If we do something wrong, I want to know about it. I want to know how we can do something right. Is that something you feel like is part of your MO, part of your daily mode of operation, something you do day in and day out as you look for opportunities to make incremental changes and make them permanent?
I need to be better at it.
That's fair. I'm in. I'm in. I have plenty of change that I need to do personally. I have to make you a nice list. However, in this environment, within the Divas organization, her website that is
Divas together.
no, I was thinking more of evolving. Significantly evolving into what will be one of the most powerful platforms on the internet for people who are going through transition and people who support people who are going through transition. But it is going to require you to participate. It is going to require you to change some habits. You think about it, a marketing environment for business owners. You said part of one of the things that is important to you is figuring out how to grow your business. Do you feel like your marketing activities have been pretty much the same for a certain duration of time? You've done the same things regularly?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So now you want a different result. Who falls in that bucket? Your marketing activities have been very, very similar for a long time, but you do want a different result. Right now is the time to do that. Right now is absolutely the time to do that. No differently than if you're in a dating environment and you're looking to meet somebody new, having the ability to change your process, logistically, how you go through the process, how you handle yourself, how you make decisions, what your mindset is going in, how confident you are going into it. Everything has got to change. Inside Divas, what is the #1 goal or mission for your participation? Anybody want to share? #1 to you. What do you want from it? You're here for food?
Support group.
Support group, why?
My thoughts, my friends are tired of hearing
So you want to
you
want somebody to talk to, why?
well, because it's darn.
To release?
And somebody that understands, so that even if we don't have to tell them what's going on, they understand.
What for? Why do you want to do that?
So that I can move on.
Okay, so to be able to move on, and what do you need to be able to do to move on?
Let it go.
Let it go. What do you need to be able to do to let it go?
Come sue me.
I'm a partner program over here.
Change me, yes.
Absolutely. What do you need to change about you? You're beautiful. Not that.
My attitude. I don't know.
I think you have a fantastic attitude. You're bright, you're cheery, you're sweet, you talk to me, you gave me your chair the second I came in. I love it. What else do you think will change?
Are you mean? Do you need to be nice? I need to be nice. I need not to be nice.
How about just mindset? Just mindset. You'll find out what those things are over time. Just be open to change. My recommendation is your participation in here, come to the table with not to want to vent, not to want to banter back and forth, not to want to connect on the same level, but to change and to be open to change. Because that's what you're going to need to do to get a different result entirely. For anybody that's in here, if you're visiting or you guys decide to go have cocktails, it's probably a good idea to talk about those things. What do you want to do different? What kind of results do you want in the future? What do you believe you need to change? And so forth. As a group, as an organization, as a business, you said you do the same things. So what is your purpose in being here? I'm going to say why a lot. Seth said I'm going to say why a lot.
Like I said, I've just been doing limbo for so long, and I need to change. I need to step it up. I need to expand. I need to find out my niche, where and how to take it, what I'm doing.
Excellent. So you're primarily you want a different result.
Yes.
Okay. Which is going to require.
I need a different result. I need that money thing.
So, I'm in. I got that, absolutely. So in that environment, I would just caution you, be careful that when you connect with each other, to focus on that, to focus on the growth, focus on the change, not focus on where you came from, but where you want to go. Same thing on the business environment. Okay, on the business environment, you want a different result. What's the result you want?
I want to reach more people so I can help them.
With less what? Absolutely. So your traditional style of marketing, your traditional style of reaching potential prospects and customers, is that something you want to continue?
A little bit, but less of it and more of some of this.
Absolutely. What does it require?
Change.
James, what is she going to have to learn?
To be open to it.
To be open to it. What else? Something new. Okay. Something new. The great part is, I had a mentor of mine, he said, if you just teach people to do what they already know they should, they will consider you a what? Absolutely. If you just teach people to do what they already know they should, eating chips, they will consider you. And it ain't. That's interesting. What are your thoughts?
Well, if you look at the millions of dollars that are spent on self-help books, those kind of Tony Robbins, all the Zig Ziglar, all those people. I don't know how many people I've seen that said they've got bookshelves filled with those people's literature.
What do they say? If personal health books work, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. What's wrong with that?
Well, it's a matter of actually being able to make the change, not just knowing what the change is, but just like you were saying. You can tell a person over and over again, here are the things that need to be changed. But they have to, one, be ready for it, or two, be open to it.
Absolutely.
So that they can make the change. So
they have to take action.
Yes.
That's what it is. In dealing with people, the hardest thing is they'll say, I'm going to do this, this, and this.
So what you know versus what you do.
Yeah, and I said, okay, let's set a goal. What are you going to do today to start on that plan?
Absolutely.
And they never do.
So if you think about this, do you think people right here in this room that we all come with a different capacity for change, for learning, for growth, our self-image, and so forth? Think about it like this. If everybody walks into this room with a different capacity, some of us have a shot glass, some of us have a mug, some of us have a trough, whatever that looks like, where do you think you need to start from?
I just pictured that drop. Put on the feet bag.
Wouldn't it be nice? It would be nice to sit in that zone, right? So if you think about all of this, what you just said was an execution gap, which is where people typically sit. And execution gaps occur from our ability to change based on our capacity. And capacity is simply self-image. The way you see yourself. Yes, sir.
Continuing with your boat analogy of the anchor, a lot of times I find my case the choice is that you really have to find a suitable emotional anchor also out there to give you some validation. And that is if your current person in relationship with is a person who's getting shit all the time, obviously that's not a good emotional anchor to give you validation. So you're looking for an emotional anchor that's not necessarily judgmental. That gives you some sort of feedback and evaluation as you go along. And even if you slip, it's not, if it doesn't become plain to shame, just acknowledges it's a way to get out. And so I think that helps to keep you on the path because they have an appropriate emotional anchor.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100%
pain
agree.
motivates me.
What does?
Pain, I don't feel enough pain that I'm carrying extra weight, so I don't do anything about it.
Pain is where change occurs. Pain is
Oh,
good.
okay. But I mean, that motivates me. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm in a relationship where, I'm not valued. That's painful. So
I'm going to do something different.
I
I'm
do
going
something
to
different.
choose to do something different. Absolutely. Pain is where change occurs. So if you know that pain is where change occurs, can you go into a painful situation with a different reality attached to it?
Yes.
You can, if we have the self-image and the capacity to be able to go into it, knowing that if we can pull ourselves out of ourselves to be able to see that, which is a big deal. What does Lars always say? So a knife sharpens a pencil, adversity sharpens the man, right? Adversity in our lives is critical. If you had no adversity in your digital marketing, if you didn't have any competition, how well would you do? Really? I like it. The trough. That's like, if you played with the worst basketball players, how well would you do?
I would think I would do well amongst them, but everyone else I'd suck.
Would you grow?
No.
So if you got to tail wood,
Like the
then would
Pacers
you
did
grow?
last week.
Yeah, that would help build me up.
I knew we were going heat. I was actually trying to stay away from heat.
No, you weren't.
Absolutely. So adversity is part of what that friction is what causes us to grow. So if we can go into it with that knowing, you know what, I'm cool with pain. I'm absolutely cool with this because I'm going to come out of it with a different thought.
That's
I'm
why
going
you
to come out of
said,
it with something
that's why I said
different.
you used to being uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, you don't grow.
Absolutely.
Well, I think
Absolutely.
it depends, because in the very beginning you said people change either because of tragedy,
Uh-huh.
because they choose
A
to.
significant emotional event. Yes.
Significant emotional event, or because they choose to.
I win the lotto.
So that is, I think that's what we're all saying, that you either have to be pushed into it, or you have to know you gotta get there. But I think both sides of that need a third person to assist them, to be their friend, their buddy. We talked about it. Changing behavior means you've got to have somebody, the emotional anchor, who's going to help you along.
I 100% agree. Within the technology that we're developing for Divas, we have 4 primary categories. The first one is technology, what kind of technology we're producing. Second is strategy, how are we going to teach you how to leverage the technology? What is your strategy for using it? The third piece is behavior and mindset, and the fourth piece is network. What does your network look like? Who do you choose? How do you choose your partners? How do you choose your advisors? How do you choose your mentors? How do you choose your coaches? And how do you go about getting a better result with them? Because a lot of us, have you seen, you guys, I know you have you seen people ask their broke Uncle Harry about money? Genius. How does that happen? Right? Have you seen somebody that is absolutely broken internally go to sit down and have cocktails with someone who is in the exact same emotional state? Over and over and over. Continuously. So if we are going to change, that is what we do need to change. We need to change our choice in who we choose to have in our lives. As a mentor, whether it's marketing, digital marketing, whether it's how to grow your business, whether it's financial, whether it's mortgage, whether it's house, whether it's legal, whether it's dating, it doesn't matter what it is. Yes, sir.
And also, as a provider, you have to understand it's not good enough just to be good at what you do in this group.
Absolutely.
So, anytime, usually, most of the time when I'm sitting down with some of the boards, maybe talk about issues and business and stuff, I've learned to bring my bucket with me.
Yes.
You know, just open the bucket and let them get it all out. Because I want to hear not, it's going to come out. So yes. I'm there to hear that. You know, that's okay because we can't get to the specifics until Sheila loads and fills that bucket.
You know what I love about the providers I've met at Divas? For someone who is going through transition, going through a divorce, this is one of the things that stands out the most to me. The more that I talk with each one of them, I notice that they're not 100% pushing their independent services. They all talk like and think like consultants who are looking at creating this overall kind of wellness plan for you to get through this transition. And I believe because of their integration into Divas, because they're sort of forced to learn from each other, network with each other, do business with each other, that it gives them the opportunity to better prioritize the needs of somebody going through transition so that they're helping give advice that's happening in the right order. So many, many times, service providers and business owners, they will give the right information at the wrong time. You know what I mean? The right information at the wrong time. And I love the fact that the providers in the network, they've taken, I'm going to say kind of a self-oath, just from having talked to everyone, that they are bound to providing the right information at the right time. And if they can't provide that service, they're going to introduce you to the person who can. Everyone in here has got to create kind of a series of I almost want to call them projects, right?
Well, we have to meet them where they're at.
Absolutely. I say that in marketing all the time. You have to meet people where they're at. Absolutely. All right, you guys. So I think I'm on time. I'm running out of time. So with that, the way that Divas operates is in a membership environment. By becoming a member of Divas, you have the ability as a provider to be able to access different functionality, to be able to reach, help, and educate potential consumers, people that are going through transition, people that need help. In my thought process is, we are obligated as experts in our field, in our industry, to provide education and information relentlessly. That it is our responsibility to be able to do that. So, as a member, you have the ability to be able to post blog content, post video, you have the ability to post podcasts and so forth, which, remember when I asked you earlier, if you, actually let me ask you this. From a marketing standpoint, if you said there was the number one thing you run out of, what is it? Time. Okay? So does everyone agree?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. How many of you said you answered the same 10 questions from prospects day in, day out, over and over and over again? All right, so that is making a choice to absolutely eliminate your time, which is reducing your capacity to be able to actually help new people. However, if you have the ability to get advice on what to do on a first date, and you got to go online, watch a quick video, and it gave tips and tricks on how to be safe, and what you should do, what you should consider, how to dress, what you show, what you shouldn't show, whatever it is, right? Okay. So whatever that is, would it be of value to you to be able to easily go to the Divas website, be able to search what to do on a first date, or things to consider on a first date? Would that be of value? Who believes that they have that information? Okay?
I have that information.
So, how many people do you think have that same question?
Oh, a lot.
You gave the numbers earlier about people affected by divorce. It was a little bit big. I don't remember what it is. Okay, right? It's a trivia. So if that's the case,
$2 million a year.
if that's the case, is it your responsibility to answer that question in a place that she can find it, and so can others? Would it give you back more time if you were to digitize that answer and make it available to the general population? Yes? Absolutely. That's what this is about. It's about identifying what people's needs are and coming to the table with the answers to fulfill those needs. So I hope this is helpful. Is any of this helpful? Yes? Amber is providing educational sessions on a regular basis. I think you're doing this monthly.
We're doing it weekly in different areas.
Fantastic. So I just encourage you guys, as you make a commitment to change and growing your business, growing personally and professionally and so forth, commit to this process together and commit to support each other in that change, because it's really going to make a huge, huge, huge difference in your lives, personally, professionally, financially, health, physical, emotional, spiritual, and everything else. Helpful?
Yeah.
Very good.
Changes now. I'm going to go to the gym for the first time in my life ever on January 1st because everything's working like little guys. No, but anyway, Jen is an awesome speaker. I mean, the light bulb really went off with me recently. They've been saying technology. You guys, we need to get on some Google Hangouts. We need to start doing videos. I want to interview you guys. I want to edify you. I want to get you out there. It is going to save me time and gas and money. So anyway, I'm going to end it on a nice note. First of all, we do help people save marriages, and this is the one lady who's actually, we saved 3, I think. 3 years. It's not a lot, but it's something, right? I hope we can grow that number, because I'm also, let me tell you something. I'll tell you this. If you can avoid divorce, do it. So we do have programs to help people save marriages. So I have one more trivia question, and I doubt anybody will get this, but it'll be fun to see. What? Oh, that's not mine. What city in the United States has the highest rate of married couples? In the U.S. The highest married couples.
Salt Lake City.
Flower Mound, Texas.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, you guys, if you have any questions, we've got, John and I will be here to answer